Welcome to the Santa Barbara Symphony's season preview event. Thank you to Natasha for starting us off on this event right where we should be with music. I'm Catherine Martin, President and CEO, here with our board chair, Janet Garufas, and Maestro Cabaretti, Music and Artistic Director. And we are all here tonight to have Nir share his inspiration and his insights about the beautiful programs in store for us this season, with concerts every month, October through May, with, as we say, lots of things happening in between those concerts that we'll talk a little bit about tonight and that you'll receive information about when you're on our email list. So how many of you have attended a Santa Barbara Symphony concert in the past 5 years? Yes. So you know what it feels like when the hairs on your arms stand up, or maybe on the back of your neck, with goosebumps. And we cannot wait to share these moments with you this season. As a producing organization, we've been working furiously all summer long. We've not been on break, and the office is literally humming with anticipation for opening night. 23 days until we all hear the first note of the 24-25 season. And now is the time to make sure that you have your ticket to guarantee your seat and join over, and here's a big announcement, 1,000 of your fellow subscribers, including 175 first-time new subscribers. So thank you. Also, a little bit of fun, if you've RSVP'd for tonight online, you've been automatically entered for a chance to win a 4-pack subscription, and I'm going to announce tonight's winner at the end, and remember, you must be present to win. Something also has been percolating over the summer. More groups, businesses, and fellow nonprofits are making plans to get together at the Symphony concerts through our group sales partnership program. It's a really fun way to gather with friends, clients, coworkers. You get a discount, and our staff helps to make it a really special event with personal touches. And as we know, you all love to be close to the music and our wonderful musicians. And this season, you're going to have even more opportunities to do just that through our engagement events that include, and I'm going to read them, open rehearsals, receptions with artists, intimate house concert fundraisers, collaborations creating artist residencies, pre-concert conversations, program notes that are sent out to you in advance, and of course, our 3 weekends of youth ensembles performances. So please stop by the marketing table to make sure you have all of that information, and as I said before, sign up for our email community. And finally, as you know, we are a nonprofit, so all of what we do in the community is made possible through your donations of time, of treasure, of talent. And tonight it's my pleasure to acknowledge 2 local businesses who have just confirmed their support. La Leaf Wines is now the official wine sponsor of the 24-25 season. And yes, local business. And Lure Digital is generously helping the community hear more about our story of impact through their creative video services. You may remember our digital series. Well, Kai Schultz and his team were the creators behind those amazing concerts, and we're just so happy to be collaborating with him again, and he's behind the camera over there. So thank you, Kai. And today I can also announce that the Symphony's 3 major season sponsors are all continuing their support. So thank you to Sarah and Roger Chrisman, the Granada Theater, and Montecito Bank and Trust for being our season sponsors. Thank you. So important. And that's a perfect segue for me to thank and introduce Janet Garufas, who is not only the chair of our board of directors, but she's also the chairman and CEO of Montecito Bank and Trust. So thank you, Janet.
Isn't this great how the maestro helps me? He's my friend here. Thank you, maestro. Sure. Yes, perfect. Thank you. So this is so exciting to see so many of our friends here tonight. Welcome, welcome. And And I'm really proud that Montecito Bank and Trust is the corporate season sponsor. You know, behind every great symphony is a great community bank. Just saying. So, thanks to all of you who are supporting us. Everything you hear about tonight is being made possible because of 3 things that you do. Take notes. Number 1, you buy tickets. You subscribe to our season and attend our concerts. And as you'll hear today, NEAR creates these programs just for you. Number 2, you volunteer. You volunteer to open up your homes to out-of-town musicians during concert week. And when you join our Green Room gang, if you haven't done it, you should do it. It's very fun. You get a green apron, and you provide backstage food to our wonderful musicians. They appreciate that so much. All you have to do is be there once, and you will keep going back. Number 3, you support the symphony through your financial donations. And I know we're all here to talk about NEAR's inspirations behind the music you'll hear this season, but as a banker, I can't resist sharing just a few numbers with you. So did you know that it costs about $4.1 million to operate our Santa Barbara Symphony, your Santa Barbara Symphony? To invest in artistic excellence and have the infrastructure to bring you a variety of symphonic experiences as well as our award-winning music education programs. How many of you played instruments out there? Yes, it was fun, right? I've never done that before. I thought that was great fun. Your donations make all that possible. And we love saying thank you to you. And we'd love to say more thank yous to you. So this is a great time for us to thank our board of directors. They're all members of Crescendo, a very special group of people who are making multi-year pledges of support. And that support has been transformational in creating predictable and foundational funding for our nonprofit symphony. And as some of you may remember, Crescendo was launched at the same time that NEAR and Catherine and I made a commitment to join forces to provide leadership continuity for the Santa Barbara Symphony. That was 4.5 years ago. Yeah? Okay, the time has flown. We led the organization through COVID, and together with our board, worked to overcome some pretty significant obstacles and to establish a solid foundation on which to build the future of our Santa Barbara Symphony. Crescendo was and continues to be instrumental in providing a reliable foundation on which to grow. But our work is far from done. There's still so much more. And today I'm excited to announce that NEAR, Catherine, and I have very enthusiastically accepted the invitation of our board of directors to continue to lead our wonderful symphony, and we invite you to continue with us. Thank you. It's a labor of love, it really is. So this is such an exciting time for our organization. Momentum has been building like mad. Your support is such an encouragement, and it makes us really excited about continuing our work to serve the community through this great organization. And now, before I join you in my seat back there, it is my absolute honor and pleasure to introduce our maestro and my really good friend, Nir Cabaretti. You know, he came here 18 years ago. He was just a boy. He really was. A little grayer, but that's when I first met Nir. He is the Symphony's truly beloved music and artistic director. He's worked with nearly 100 orchestras and theater and opera companies from the Far East to South America, and most of the European musical centers. We just got to spend a lot of time with Nir in Vienna, where he did all of his musical training, and they love him there. Nir is one of our city's true cultural ambassadors, and he's so versatile at home as a great dad and husband, on the stage and in the orchestra pit with symphonies, opera, and ballet companies from around the world, and in bringing the symphony into even rock and roll with our great friends, the Double Wide Kings. So it is my great pleasure to be here this evening. I am so happy to see all of you. I'm wishing you a wonderful season with our Santa Barbara Symphony. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Janet Garufis. Thank you, Catherine. Good afternoon, everyone. It's always an exciting and rewarding process to put a season together. And that means to select different composers, different pieces, guest artists, and shape it in one big subscription. And there are a few parameters that guides me, and I would think, okay, I would like to have some of the masterpieces, music that you all know or want to hear, but I also want to mix it with things that you don't know, things that we can explore together. Music from the past, music from today, and sometimes music that is unknown that was written 200 years ago. There are also things like that. Not always history made justice with some composers. Of course, we want to highlight American music. We want to give chance to new talents that will launch their career after or during the time that they visit Santa Barbara. We want to highlight local forces who would like to collaborate with other art organizations. We're happy to do that, and that's really part of our musical DNA that we developed over the years. So you just heard Tchaikovsky, beautifully played by our pianist, solo keyboard, Natasha Kislenko. And there is a reason for that, not only because it's September, part of the season, but we will hear a lot of Tchaikovsky. And with that, I would like to go to the first program. And, I've asked myself, why people love Tchaikovsky? I mean, it's kind of a silly question, but there is something in the music, I want to say the emotional depth in his music is something that is clearly touching the hearts of people all over. Now, also, we know that Tchaikovsky was very Western-oriented in a time where some of his contemporary were very much trying to capture more of the Russian spirit. Tchaikovsky went beyond that. Tchaikovsky was also inspired by literature. He's maybe the greatest composer that wrote music to so many of Shakespeare's stuff, Romeo and Juliet, and The Tempest, and other things. Pushkin, Yevgeny Onegin, and of course E.T.H. Hoffmann, the Nutcracker. So his music tells a much larger story than just putting notes together, and it touches the heart. It's colorful, orchestration. He's the first one to have introduced few instruments, like the celesta, even though for his time he was considered a kind of a conservative, but today we appreciate what he gave the music. And, there is also something else. There is a struggle that you feel it. This man had a struggle in his own personal life with all kind of things, and especially with not being able to identify sexual-wise, and he even got to a brief marriage. All of that is somehow captured in the music, and that touches the heart regardless to times and place. And there's something else that's fascinating, and I would like to go to the next thing. So I have a few vouchers for a drink on the symphony if you know the answer. How is this lady somehow relates to the story that we're taking, especially the Fourth Symphony? Would anyone know? Excellent. So we have 2 alcohol for Bob Wyman and to Lev. Thank you. So that's Nadezhda von Meck, who was the sponsor behind you, Kim. Yeah. She was the sponsor for Tchaikovsky for about 10 years. Now, talking about sponsorship, she gave, I read the numbers, there was about 6,000 rubles per month, which was about 10 times more than he got as a professor in the Conservatory of Moscow. So that was a big stipend that allowed him to really concentrate on the music. And why I mentioned her, especially for the Fourth Symphony, because this symphony is dedicated to her, and there was an admiration and intimate talks about music, about art. There was only one condition in this relationship: they cannot meet. So they never met, which is incredible. 10 years of intense correspondence, beautiful letters, but they never met. Actually, Tchaikovsky met some of her cousins, and there was some kind of a wedding even between the families, and he attended that, but he never met her. So the Fourth Symphony is an incredible piece that, not for, there must be a reason that some of the guest orchestras are putting it on their tour. I've seen it actually here in the New York Philharmonic. They came a few years ago with Tchaikovsky Fourth, and really incredible music. Start with the Fate motif, and that's something that you will definitely recognize. It's featured in so many films and so on. So talking about inspiration, we have another opportunity for some free wine. How is this related to our program? Would anyone recognize this building behind me? Oh, I see a hand there. Bravissimo. Kim, bring the alcohol immediately. All right, that's the Palazzo Real de Aranjuez, the place that inspired Joaquin Rodrigo to write a beautiful Aranjuez concierto. Now, an incredible piece of music. Everybody would have known the second movement because it's featured in so many Hollywood things, but not only in films. A lot of artists actually took this main theme from the second movement and made their own version. And I have to say, a fun story. I was, as I looking back at the, some of the programs, I looked on YouTube and found a recording of Pablo, the guitar player that was here in the past and will play it, with a classmate from Vienna. His name is Kirill Petrenko, music director of the Berlin Philharmonic. And they have a concert from the New Year's Eve in Berlin. And I put it on loud. And then my son comes and said, "Oh, Dad, I know this music." And I said, "What is it?" "That's Chicoria, Spain." Well, that's exactly what it is, because so many, and I'm so happy he recognized it through another artist, and Paco de Lucia and Nana Mushkur, and I don't know what, all, there are about hundreds versions of this beautiful music set up in different setups. So the Concierto de Aranjuez, really one of the most beloved, the second movement is literally one of the most beloved theme ever, starting with, the guitar just playing chords, and then the English horn. And if you ask yourself what an English horn, don't try to understand what it means, because it's a totally fake name. There's nothing English, and there's certainly no horn. So the English horn is an oboe, and it's called English because they translated it wrongly from anglais, which means the corner. It has the mouth type is a little bit like as an angle, and they thought it's English. But anyhow, you will recognize this theme when our beautiful English horn player will, I'm sure, will shine in that. We have another piece before we go to we have another piece that we are so happy to play, and that's by Emma Lou Diemer. Wonderful composer. Yes, thank you. Many years professor of music at UCSB, and she taught many wonderful musicians and composers, born in Kansas City but made her home in Santa Barbara, passed last June at the age of 97, sharp and bright. And she wrote this piece it's a homage to Tchaikovsky, and about 12 motifs from Tchaikovsky, but you will hardly recognize them. Honestly, I had to kind of rethink, rehear, relook at the score and say, "Oh, that's actually from the Nutcracker. Oh, that's from the fourth symphony. That's from the fifth symphony." There are a lot of, it's a collage of different elements, but it's very American and very Emma Lou Diemer. So we're happy, as the Santa Barbara Symphony, to pay an homage to her, paying homage to Tchaikovsky. So that's our October. But before we go to November, we have a few new things.
Yeah, so we're trying something new during the opening weekend. And we'd love your feedback after the concerts. So we're adding a pre-concert conversation before the Saturday concert. So now both Saturday and Sunday audiences will be able to hear Nir speak and learn a little bit more about the programs. And also new KUSC Radio's on-air host Jennifer Miller will now be our host for these two pre-concert talks, and it'll be called Conversations with KUSC. And this is part of an exciting partnership that's developing. KUSC is wanting to introduce more of their listeners to the Santa Barbara Symphony. They've heard what's going on, and we're really, we'll be sending you information about how that partnership unfolds.
Excellent. So, yeah, wonderful. French Connection, all the pieces are either written by a French composer or were written for the French audience. And I'll start with the first one, really, Rameau, and a fantastic orchestral piece from really a jewel of the French Baroque, something that is not played too often. Now, Platée is a nymph, a water nymph, and she is convinced that Jupiter, I mean, it's all Greek mythology, she's convinced that Jupiter wants to marry her, that he's in love with her. Of course, ridiculous idea, but that was enough material for Rameau, a phenomenal French composer, to turn this kind of misunderstanding and correspondence between the nymph and the Greek god to an incredible, fun comedy. Now, there is something about the French composers obsessed with the Greek mythology and the nymph. And another example would be Debussy's Syrinx. Syrinx is the nymph that is chased by Pan. Pan is the god for wildness and rustic music. So as she escaped from him, she dives into the river and she transformed herself into reeds, to which Pan is taking the reeds and making his own flute. That's the pan flute. Now we have a little surprise for you, and we are going to hear Syrinx, the piece dedicated to the nymph, by our own principal flute player, Amy Tatum. Since we have Amy, that was beautiful. Please sit with us for 1 second. Not every day we have an opportunity to sit next to you and to hear a little bit. So thank you, first of all, for joining us this afternoon in your busy calendar. And this year, Amy will play a solo with the symphony. I don't know when was the last time that a flute player played actually a solo with the symphony, but that was before my time. So, you know, Amy, I want you to share with us how does it feel? Since you play in our solo, you play in, you know, chamber music, you play with the symphony, and I will play with the entire orchestra. Is there a different approach for each thing, or I'm now alone, or I'm to? How does it feel on your side?
It's absolutely a different approach, very different approach. For me, playing with the orchestra is sort of the ultimate communal act for a musician. You know, it's, I think you could even say the orchestra is kind of a microcosm of a community, you know, a successful community. It's a lot of people coming together with a unified purpose, you know, and achieving that purpose requires so many levels of communication and collaboration and listening, and all of that is very challenging, but this collaboration is actually what makes it so deeply rewarding, right? So you're very busy with all of these details, you know, everything that's going on. And then with solo playing, I've always kind of felt like solo playing feels a little bit like solo kayaking through whitewater, minus the danger element. But yeah, you're at the helm. You're in control. You're making all of the decisions, and you have to make all the decisions. And you want to make good decisions so you don't end up in the water, right? And so there is an added sense of responsibility for, I would say, the care and keeping of the music and the musical choices that need to be made. But that also offers such great freedom. You know, I can chart a different course every single time I play the piece, and it's new and it's exciting, and that keeps it really interesting.
Oh, wonderful. Tell us a little bit how you juggle all the 100 jobs. I know you play in the studios, you play in the LA Opera often, you play with other jobs, and I know, I mean, Amy is one of the most loyal and committed musician. I think since you joined the orchestra, I hardly ever not seeing you there, which is a really great sign. So thank you so much for making it top priority. But tell us how you juggle all the other things around it.
I'm not really sure. If I'm being 100% honest, I have a phenomenal support system. You know, my family, my husband, who also plays with the orchestra quite a bit and has actually been playing up here longer than I have. That's right. Is extremely supportive. You know, my kids come with us quite often for concerts, and in Los Angeles too. They're along for the ride, you know, and love that, love being a part of it. My family is supportive. We all work together. We're a team.
Wonderful,
you know?
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Amy, for joining us. So we'll continue with the November. I have another, the Ravel Piano Concerto, an amazing piece, and I'm so happy that David Greilshammer is joining us, a conductor, pianist. And when I saw him first with his orchestra in Geneva, the chamber orchestra, as a graduate from Juilliard, but what they do there, it's pretty amazing and touched me. And I reached out to his management, and we made it happen. So I'm happy he's conducting and playing. And I talked about the English horn. This year's has a lot of English horn. The second movement of the Ravel, again, big solo. And that's when I know our principal player will be there. Nobody wants to miss Ravel Concerto. Now we have a Haydn Symphony number 85, part of 6 symphonies that Haydn wrote for the Paris audience. Now the nickname is La Reine, the Queen. And the next question that will be rewarded with a glass of wine is, who is the Queen? Whose Queen we're talking about? Wrong question, wrong answer. Sorry for that. Another. Bravo, that's the right thing. Maria Antonia Johanna Josefina. known as Marie Antoinette. I should have given a clue. She was the last one. So, Kim, where is the... Okay, right near you. Yeah, behind. Yeah. Great. You obviously know history and music. So that was the favorite piece of Marie Antoinette. Didn't end very good for her. And we have another piece by a phenomenal composer, Darius Milhaud, and Le Bœuf sur le toit is the ox on the roof. I don't know exactly where the name comes from, but I do know that, strange enough, it was conceived as a piece to be played in a silent film of Charlie Chaplin. But it never made it so far. And I didn't find any reason why it did not make it, and I can only assume it was rather too complicated or too expensive or too short. It's about 15 minutes piece. Very fun, beautiful music, and I'm happy that it will be part of the French Connection. Really a beautiful program. After that, we will have our traditional New Year's Eve, and we are delighted to have wonderful artists, and especially I'm excited for Michaela McCall, local singers that I'm sure you, if you watch American Idol, you have seen her, and she got a lot of recognition right after. Beautiful voice. We reached out to her through wonderful supporters of the Symphony, and I'm so happy she said yes, and that's the first time that she will have a chance to sing with the Symphony Orchestra. And to welcome the new year with a lot of fun pieces, included some of the legendary charts from Broadway, from film, a little bit of Johann Strauss. Would be a lot of fun. That's our traditional New Year's Eve. And we will welcome the new year with something new, which is not, Mozart is not new, but it's for the first time we're doing different programs in the same weekend. So the Saturday night program is completely different from the Sunday afternoon. It's all Mozart, but different repertoire. Now, we're trying to do that as an organization to offer more programs, but so I do hope that people come to the Saturday and would also join us for the Sunday, vice versa, so we have more people to hear. There are a few things that are really remarkable. First of all, what else can I say about Mozart beyond the all incredible thing that you all know? But maybe to highlight something that is taken maybe for granted, how prolific and what an incredible productive composer he was. We were playing a piano concerto in the program. Mozart wrote 27 of those, 27 piano concerti. He actually wrote almost for every single instrument a concerto. There is a concerto for the oboe, a concerto for the bassoon. For each woodwind there is a concerto, plus there is a double concerto for flute and a harp. There are 4 concerti for the horn. There are 5 concerti for the violin. There is a double concerto, the Sinfonia Concertata for violin and viola. A lot of concerti. That's alone a lot of stuff. But on the top of that, he wrote 41 symphonies. He wrote endless amount of operas in the Italian style, in the German style, in the Singspiel, comic opera, the opera buffa, opera seria. An incredible amount of music, and the guy was just 36 years old when he died. Now, on the top of that, he was a performer. So, if you know a performer, live, they need to get, somehow prepared for the concert. There's a lot of touring. Mozart toured from, Austria, where he resides, all the way down to Italy and all the way up north. And these are days long of traveling with horses. And just the amount that he wrote is just unbelievable. And I would think, you have somebody like Chopin, okay, the god of romantic piano. He wrote just 2 concertos, that's it. 2 concerti for the piano. They're beautiful. I mean, that's not so great orchestrated, but beautiful music. Just 2 pieces. Look at the Brahms, Bruckner, Mahler. None of them ever wrote an opera. And on the other side, if you look at Puccini, Verdi, Wagner, none of them ever wrote a symphony, let alone, chamber music or I don't know what. Mozart wrote endless amount of chamber music. It's string trio and quartets and quintets and just incredible amount of volume. So I wanted to dedicate this, we call it a Mozart Marathon, to the concerti of Mozart. So we have an oboe and piano, violin, and a double concerto for flute and harp. And I'm so thrilled to have 5 fantastic soloists, all of them principal player of the symphony. So with that, we have 2 of us today, and I would like to invite Amy Tatum and Natasha Kislenko to play some Mozart for you. Thank you, Amy and Natasha.
Over 100 musicians collaborate in the Youth Ensembles program, from beginner-level ensembles all the way through the Youth Symphony. The students are receiving weekly professionally led rehearsals and coaching, and then 3 times a year, as I mentioned before, they come together in performances, public performances, including right here at the beautiful Libero Theater. These students also benefit from hearing rehearsals and performance of the tall symphony, as they call it, the professional symphony, meeting guest artists and members of our orchestra, and also visiting with Youth Symphony alums and our professional staff about career paths in and outside of the arts. And students are also eligible to participate and compete in our annual concerto competition. And also the polka-dotted music van that you saw outside. So far, 48 schools and 67 classrooms throughout Santa Barbara County have requested the Symphony's free visits from the music van program. This curriculum is unique. It introduces third graders to the instruments of the symphony in a very interactive and hands-on experience that is, I can tell you, just an absolute joy to watch.
Yeah, and really just
Joy.
that deserves a standing ovation. Yeah. What a joy to see the kids in our community making music together. And as Amy mentioned before, playing an instrument on your own is one thing. Playing with other, listen, blend your sound with other, making sure that your pitch matches the others. There are skills that will be helpful for life. And last year was so nice. In the last concert, I had a chance to see where the seniors, the people that just graduated from the Youth Symphony, where they go. Great schools, great professions. I'm so happy that music is part of their life. We don't particularly want them to be musicians, but if they would like to be musicians, we will accompany them through this journey. In fact, from time to time, we have the chance to bring some of the alumni that are very busy, some in Los Angeles and elsewhere, professional musicians busy in their careers, but sometimes we have the chance to invite them to play with the tall symphony, and that's a very rewarding to have someone that went through our programs and share with us the stage at the Granada.
We also, I think, have a new board member that also went through
We have board members that actually, yes, went through our youth programs. They played in the Youth Symphony, went to great careers. And the fact that they have joined the board now, so the circle is closing. So our latest new board member, Jim Wooey, is with us, I think, tonight as well. So thanks, Jim, for making it. Of course, former board member Arthur Swally and Don Gilman, Dr. Gilman, both of them were in our youth orchestra and are doing beautifully in their careers and give back to the community through the symphony. So we are so excited about that. And with that, we'll continue to our February concert. Now, when you see a silent film by Chaplin, I have a hard time to imagine the genius that write a script, direct, playing it, and in Charlie Chaplin's case, also wrote the music for it. So it's a genius, person to be able to do all those things, writing, playing, directing, and writing the music. So Charlie Chaplin also played beautifully the violin, and if you would see, he actually held the violin on the other side because it was a left hand, and he was also quite gifted conductor. There are a few YouTube things you can see, and this is one example. I don't know if it was real or just for the photo, but there are some YouTube things where you would see actually Charlie Chaplin conduct, and it looks beautiful. He holds the baton with the left hand. He was a left, but it's pretty amazing. Now, the silent film, which is pantomime, right, is something that has no sound in it, but it expresses. It's like a language, a universal, right? You understand it without a word. On the same time, music is another way of communication and another sort of, language without text. So the match of pantomime and music is just amazing, and I think it will be a beautiful experience for all of you to see the symphony on stage, the screen above, and we are so grateful, I should say, to the Granada Theater for allowing us to have this, technique. There are so many places around the world where you cannot have it. Having a screen which is the most advanced technique in the world, literally, and that's thanks to the Chrisman Foundation, the Chrisman family. We are so lucky and privileged to have the opportunity to play such films really in the best quality, and to hear the warm sound of the strings. It'll be a very exceptional experience. So I hope you enjoyed that with guest conductor Lucas Richmond, a wonderful colleague. And our March concert brings something very different. And when I spoke about what are the parameters, I want the concert not to be each similar to the other. So this is a very different type of music and a lot of fun. The main piece in the program is a collaboration between Kurt Weill and Bertolt Brecht, the 7 Deadly Sins. Now, this collaboration started back in Germany in the cabaret style, continued in the US. And in fact, the piece has a lot of cabaret, some jazzy things, not a very moral piece, but a very interesting one. It follows a story of a lady named Anna, travels to US cities with her sister, also called Anna. And they both go through the journey of all kinds of sins, from greed and lust and I know what. It's an amazing piece that has text, songs, orchestral music, plus a quartet, a male quartet, sort of a barbershop, but a very, very interesting sound concept. And we are really delighted to have Storm Large. She is really a pioneer and really maybe the most kind of cabaret symphonic singer, I should rather say. Now, another opportunity to get a free wine is if you know who the lady in that photos. Lotto Lenia. Okay, we have a lot of wine. Kim, yeah, here. That's my dream, to have an audience entering the Granada all drunk. I can do whatever I want. So, Lotto Lenia, Kurt Weill's wife, well, he was one of the husbands, put it this way. There were like 5. I stopped counting after the 5th, because they were like in between as well, and all of them very important people, including actors and all of that. An incredible artist with a very unique voice. I think, if she would go on to American Idol today, they would throw away in the first round. That's not the kind of voice that you would expect today. She had a very rough, kind of somebody that smokes a lot and drinks a lot. I mean, but it's so interesting, and that's the sound concept that Kurt Weill wanted. And so that's not the only thing he wrote for her. Of course, the 3-penny opera she premiered, the Mahagoni, the Moon of Alabama, and all of those songs. Make it, of course, just all Lotto Lenia, an incredible artist that we are very thankful for, her contribution to this music. We have an opportunity to hear also Jacques Ibert, Divertissement, a very fun piece to start this kind of a cabaret feeling with a piece that he wrote for a play called The Italian Straw Hat. Very funny also story, and I'm excited specifically for 2 American composers. One, William Grant Still, is called the Dean of, got the nickname the Dean of Afro-American Composer, because he was the first Afro-American composer to have been played with a major orchestra in Chicago. He was the first conductor to conduct a major orchestra, the first Afro-American composer that got a production in a major opera house in New York. Really a fantastic piece. It's since we have the 7 Deadly Sins, I somehow played with the theme 7, and so these are 7 little pieces, beautifully for sort of a chamber orchestra, a bit extended. Fantastic piece. And specifically, I'm interested in music of Jessie Montgomery. Graduated as a violinist from Juilliard, but now really concentrated more on her composition. Phenomenal artist. This piece is for string orchestra, strum, and there is a lot of interesting technique that she developed. Of course, knowing the instruments so well, it's easy for her to make an incredible sonorities. So overall, really a very fun program with our March. And with that, we will continue to April, where we have a few new things. So, we are excited to bring the Brahms German Requiem back to the community. when we think about the word requiem, of course, the first connotation is the Latin, mass and with the right movements. This is very different. It's the very first requiem that is written in German. It's not Latin, and it doesn't follow the New Testament movements. Actually, there's much more Old Testament. Brahms himself wrote the text, and it's laid out in a different way than the normal Catholic requiem mass. 7 movements, and what is really important is it comes from the tradition of German song, what we call Lied, which is very different than, let's say, the Italian requiems that we know. We all know one of the most important, let's say, requiem of all times, Verdi Requiem. When you hear the Dies Irae, you really feel that the heaven has got to explode, and you really have the theatrical. Well, it's an opera composer, so Verdi Requiem and so many other requiems follow the exactly the words in a sense of judgment and all of that. This is a much more comforting and a much more, I want to say, peaceful in a way. And I don't want to be misunderstood, but it's about the feeling of comfort of after. And Brahms did an incredible job in putting this music and text together, written for soprano and baritone. And we are excited to have 2 Music Academy of the West alumni. And over the years, we had many soloists, especially for the vocals. I remember there were a few years that Marilyn Horne will call me and said, I have a soprano for you, you must take her. If somebody like Marilyn Horne call you, you want to take it seriously. And sure enough, 2-3 months after, they sing at the Metropolitan Opera, So we are very happy to have really phenomenal singers, and we are working closely with our team and the Music Academy team. And really a beautiful collaboration for us. I want to say that I asked the singers also to sing a little bit Mahler songs. Well, first of all, I wanted to have some kind of a little bit Mahler in our season, but mainly because, Mahler and many others are exactly this tradition of German Lied, the song where the text has a very important role in the music, the consonants, the vowels. It's not just a beautiful melody, it's really how to make the text musical. So this is the German Lied. So we match the Brahms Requiem with 3 Mahler songs from Ruckert Lieder. And then we do something new, and we created a platform that we can invite every singer in this community to join the symphony and to be part of what we call the Symphony Chorus. So we're very excited that we have 3 leading sponsors for that: Brooks Firestone, Tolt Aldrich from our board, and Merlin Maces. 3 of them very well known in the choral scene, stepped up and gave us some funds to create this new platform. And that means that, we created a separate schedule, and we invited all chorus singers from the Choral Society, the Master Chorale, Delphos, the Choir of Voices. Westmont Chorus will join us, and we will have a different schedule to rehearse that. We need, a venue, we need a pianist, we need section leaders, we need ringers, all of that. But we are excited that for the first time, if you are a qualified singer, we will be happy to have you on stage. So if we don't know you, you will have to audition for me. Just saying, it's not like a free entrance. But if you are familiar with singing and you can handle rhythm, intonation, and German, feel free to apply. It will come out soon. We are just working now on all the logistics about this, but we're very excited about our new chorus, symphony chorus. So thank you, management and board, for making it happen. Yeah. Yeah, another new thing for May. But before we do that, I would like to invite back our pianist Natasha Kislenko to play for us some Bach. Natasha is the only person I know in town that is she's involved, deeply invested with the three institutions in town, Music Academy of the West, Santa Barbara Symphony, and University UCSB. So you're part of the three organizations. I don't know how you do it between accompanying people, working with, well, Music Academy is in the summer, but juggling your, first of all, thank you for doing that. There's one thing I love working with Natasha is when I said, I need you to play Bach. And she said immediately, I need to play Gershwin. I need to play, I don't know, Mozart. Anything you ask her, she has in the rep. Huge rep. So, Natasha, first of all, thank you for all you do. And
my pleasure, always.
from our musicians, you were the one that soloed with the symphony more than any other person. You played numerous of concertos. It's always fun. Tell us about your experience with playing playing with the orchestra and solo with the orchestra, as I asked.
Yes, well, that's the greatest perk of being part of Santa Barbara Symphony for me is to be able to play in front of the orchestra as a soloist. That's really a great gift that I get almost, well, I should say every other year. So lucky, But I am also lucky to be a part of the orchestra and sitting in the back and exploring all these different sonorities as a listener, being in the middle of the action and just sitting there and listening to all the sounds coming from different ways. But also with my own instruments. I don't only play piano in the orchestra, I get to play celesta, I get to play harpsichord, and
organ
sometimes. We don't have organ on stage, but if you hear organ in the symphony, it will be backstage, but I'm there anyway doing it. So it's so much fun, really. And piano in the orchestra is part of percussion section, which is really awesome. I love it.
you will hear her in the pit with on the ballet and on stage. So thank you, Natasha, for being such a phenomenal addition. So we are excited to have Gil Shaham comes to play with us in May, and he will play, as we said before, 2 different programs. One on Saturday night, we'll play Tchaikovsky. We will close the season with Tchaikovsky again. And I'm so excited that for the Sunday, he will play a different program. So he'll play the Bach Double Concerto and a new piece that is written right now by Avner Dorman, a double concerto, which will be a sort of a reflection of the Bach Concerto, but in a new eyes. And it's written West Coast premiere. It might be the actually world premiere. It is scheduled for April in Carnegie Hall. And what the composer told me yesterday, that there is some conflict, a problem. They might have to wait for the next season. So we might be the first orchestra. There's a consortium of different orchestras and Aspen Festival who all committed to the commission of the new piece, but we might be the first one to ever play it. So the composer is coming, is excited, of course, Gil Shaham, and we'll close with Dvorak 8 Symphony. So that's our subscription symphony season. We have also some other incredible events where the musicians will be also co-starring. One of them is the ballet performances of 2 symphonic pieces, Scheherazade and Stravinsky Firebell. I mean, these are pieces that you normally will hear without the ballet, just in a symphony concert hall. Well, we are so lucky to have a professional company here in town, the State Street Ballet, and we are so fortunate to have donors and people who believe in the importance of having a live orchestra playing those ballets. So I'm excited to be in the pit and accompany beautiful 2 productions of the ballet in end of October. Scheherazade and Firebell with the State Street Ballet.
Yes, the State Street Ballet is celebrating their 30th anniversary, and we are so happy to have been invited to be a part of that.
Be part of that. So, a new management, new artistic director, Megan Phillips, and new executive director, Cecily McDougall, she's here. So we love working with you, State Street Ballet, and we hope it will continue for many years. Thank you. And if you did not see the Van Morrison show last November, I trust you've seen it, because that's, after that show last November, when I go to Trader Joe and the gas station, everybody stops me. I know you from somewhere. And so it was an incredible show. Thank you, Granada. Thank you, Double White Kings, for engaging the symphony and having us be part of this beautiful party This season will be a tribute to the band with the next waltz, and it's such a treat to work with the Double White King and wonderful musicians, and it's really a sense of doing something together and something unique. The band can play alone, the symphony can play alone, but playing together adds another thing that you cannot even describe. So please come to see that. If there are still tickets available, I'm not sure, but that's really one of the highlights of our year, alongside with our other programs. So thank you for supporting us. Thank you for being us. I hope you all join us through the season, and I'll have let Catherine.
Thank you. Thank you, Nir, for walking us through the season. Even though I know what to expect, I always love when we learn what was in Nir's head and what his inspiration was. So we'd like to end with a thank you and 4 invitations to you. But first, let's figure out let's reveal who the winner was of the free subscription. Let's see if they're still in the audience. The winner is John Alexander. Are you here? Diana Richards. Oh, my. Good thing I have some backup names for my staff. Valerie Halverson. Lawrence Schechter. Oh, my goodness, it's a good thing it's a long list. Susan Stanfield. Ebenezer Larnio. Alexander Black. Deborah King. Crystal Fitzpatrick. Marjorie Manquist. Marjorie! Marjorie, your certificate for a VIP experience will be waiting for you at the marketing table, so thank you so much. That's funny. So, 4 invitations. Thank you for coming, and we invite you to subscribe. We invite you to bring your friends to opening weekend and let us know if you have some special guests, because my staff loves doing some special touches to make them feel welcome at their first time to the symphony. You're invited to get involved, whether it's baking cookies or hosting a fundraiser at your home. Your support has big impact. And most importantly, when you are at the Santa Barbara Symphony concert in the beautiful Granada Theater, with the glorious music washing over you, moving through you, we invite you to watch for your goosebump moments. We invite you to be moved by your Santa Barbara Symphony. Thank you so much, and we'll see you opening night.